Hello and welcome to Tell Me in Wrestling, a global podcast that uses ignorance and humour to fill the gaps between everyday life and professional wrestling. If you're new to the podcast, we are going to discuss a topic in conversation, and I'm going to be told how it works in a world of wrestling. I'm your chronically ignorant and chronically ill host, Phil, and I'm here with my tag team, Polygamy, everybody. Please let me introduce Carl.
Hello.
And Dan.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Doody, doody, doody.
Oh, there's three. Yeah, I see what you did there.
Phil,
Very
that intro was full of vim and vigour.
Well, we're going straight into when I can find the music, and it's all about me, and I'll tell you why I sound like that.
It is indeed all about you. Not even asking us how we are.
Yeah. Cheers.
It's all about me.
I've updated that.
I have, yeah. It's a slightly newer one. So,
Slightly more upbeat.
one of the reasons that we didn't get to record recently, there's been a week gap between this one that we're recording now and the one that we put out. My sleeping pattern just went to absolute shit, and it didn't matter how much I was sleeping, I was still feeling horrendous when I woke up in the morning. And it got so bad, I was so sort of all over the place that I forgot to take my antidepressants for a few nights. And usually that would scare the absolute shit out of me because they have kept me stable for quite a long time. But I got to like the second day and I thought, actually, I don't feel that bad. I don't feel like really groggy when I'm waking up in the morning. I feel like I actually want to do stuff during the day. And normally that doesn't happen. And it takes me till at least like 4 PM before I'm like, okay, I feel like I can actually do something. By that time, the day's almost over. So I thought, right, I'm gonna deliberately not take one for another day. I'm gonna see how I feel. I've done that before, and I've slept so poorly, the amount of pain just wasn't worth it. I've gone back on them, and that didn't happen this time. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep going and keep going and keep going, and I've got to make sure that I am being as calm as I can, and I am doing everything, even more than I have to make sure that there's not going to be an after effect of this. And then there was a little bit of withdrawal. I was quite sweaty for a bit, but I was genuinely okay. And so I am now, for the first time in 10 years, maybe, I'm not on medication. And
wow, I didn't realise that. I don't think you mentioned that.
I didn't want to say to you both, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm off my meds, and then immediately have to go back on them again.
Yeah.
Well done.
I didn't want to.
When women wait for a pregnancy, they wait for a certain amount of time to go, do you know what? It's going to hold.
I needed to be sure.
It sounds more like when a smackhead goes cold turkey.
Goes cold turkey. Because I'm definitely off of it. I've got my. That's good. How many consecutive days are we at now?
I think we are now at day 9 or day 10. I certainly because I have to fill. I've got 2 pill boxes that I have to fill up every week. I filled one up and I put them in there, and I was like, I'm actually going to make a point of not taking it, so it's a bigger deal to me. And then after a week, and I hadn't taken any, I just got to throw them in the bin. Now, if anyone is listening to this and they are on antidepressants, I don't really recommend just stopping taking them and then just seeing how you are. You should probably go and consult with your doctor, but at the same time, it's your body. You kind of know what you're doing. And I'm sure my doctor would have advised against me doing this. But overall, my anxiety levels have gone down spectacularly. Like they really have. And immediately you're just like, you sound like you've got more positivity and more energy.
Yeah,
I absolutely do. Even though my sleep is still pretty bad. The reason that we didn't get to record was because I think I had about 3 hours sleep and woke up about 4 a.m. in pain. Now that hasn't really happened much before, and it's starting to happen a little bit, which isn't great, I must say. But I'll deal with that.
Yeah,
but
baby steps.
Yeah.
Well, listen, mate. I've been saying for about a decade now. It's about fucking time you trade up. So Yeah,
and now it's happened. Yeah, it's just taken a decade of you being belligerent towards me.
Yeah, exactly.
and now look, am I?
I'm spending an hour a week on this fucking podcast for you to finally make a change. Oh, that's good, mate. Well done.
So we can kind of draw a line in the sand over that thing. I don't need to mention that ever again, hopefully, on this podcast. So that is me completely over and done with. And I know you two have stuff that you want to say as well. So I'll be quiet for a while.
Yeah, another reason we didn't record, my dog died.
Yeah.
which is another reason, because I've been an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
So yeah, Phil lost a bit of sleep. I lost one of the most important things in my life.
Oh yeah, sorry.
How does that feel? I'm kidding. Yeah, so that was another reason. Any personal tragedies in your life going on, Dan?
No, mine's been good.
All right, yeah, we'll fucking move on, shall we?
Shall I give a bit of a driving update? So
yes, please. Yeah,
I am
the test is fast approaching.
Exactly.
17th of March, I believe.
Exactly. We are not far away now. So I had a lesson today, which included a mock test, and I passed my mock test.
Well done.
So, well done.
Yeah.
Any minors?
5 minors.
That's all right, isn't it? What's the threshold? I forget.
I think it's something like 16 or something like. Oh no, 11. I want to say either 11 or 16. There's quite a lot.
I would probably look this up before you.
Yeah, I thought that up as well.
But that's the thing. I don't want to know that because I go.
You're not going to know as you're doing them,
as I'm doing them. Yeah, no. Exactly. So they were all. What was it? An unnecessary indication, and then a few of them were like mirrors, checking my mirrors on sort of silly little things, and a late I left my indicator on for too long as I came off of a roundabout.
What car are you driving? They turn themselves off usually.
I know, but I think it was a very sort of. It wasn't that.
Oh, you didn't quite click it back.
Yeah, I didn't quite click going back, but yeah, I kind of was just like shrugged and disputed. But I honestly thought I failed it because I was so nervous for I have no idea. I had like really bad anxiety for the first 10 minutes. I thought I made a mistake, and I'm like, oh god, and I was like,
listen, mate. For the proper test, Phil's got some pills that you can
exactly. Can I borrow some of your pills, Phil? But yeah, it was just it was weird, but I kind of like took some deep breaths and then just cracked on with it. And I thought at the end, I was like, I've probably done too many minors here and failed. But no, she said the one thing she did say to me was, I reckon I overmarked you on your mirrors because she can't see me she says because your positioning is so good in the car that I don't need to move my head because of my height. I don't need to move my head to look at the mirror to check the rear view mirror. I can just flick my eyes.
I remember when I was learning to drive, and you almost had to over exaggerate.
Yes. She said where you're sat right now is good because I can see you sort of like looking at things, but when you're looking at your rear view, a lot of the time because you're just flicking a look at it, you're not having to move your head. So she said, I would deliberately move the rear view mirror, I think it was up a little bit. So you have to kind of like, I have to move my head to get a proper...
It's so stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Make it more dangerous. Make it more difficult. So you have to move more. It's so dumb.
that was a thing. And then, there was... And then when I came home, I watched a video of somebody doing a mock test as well and questioned some of their movements in the road and had a 45-minute conversation with my wife about crossing over lanes at a specific lane in Rotherham, which was enthralling. So yeah, very, very good day.
I can imagine.
It's 45-minute
some
conversation
life,
about roundabouts.
To be a fly on the wall in your household sometimes.
Yeah. Exactly. Be the most boring fucking reality show ever, wouldn't it?
Oh, and then and then she went for a bath and I watched 20 minutes or about 20-25 minutes of MILF Manor, which we discussed a few weeks ago. It is ridiculous.
MILF Manor? I don't remember that.
We've discussed this before. It's a reality TV show where they've got 8 MILFs walk into a manor,
and it's all their sons or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do remember, yeah.
So yeah, and I watched the first 20 minutes of the first episode of that, and it was as dreadful as the premise sounds. So
very good.
Yeah, that's been my day today, and now we're on the pod.
Nice.
Right.
What a day. I mean,
What a
that's
day, I
one for the
know.
ages, isn't it? Gee, that's mate, you better extra long entry in that diary tonight, I think, before
Exactly.
you get tucked up in bed. Wow.
Better make sure the ink is not dry on that one. So,
Very good.
anyways, Carl, have you done a haiku about Haku?
Easy for you to say. I have
There
indeed,
go.
mate.
You have
You
done
ready?
a haiku
Yeah.
about Haku.
A haiku about Haku. I
Have you done it,
indeed.
or has
It's all me, this.
it's
It's all
it's
Carl. This one.
So
Carlos
Carl.
Speciale?
it's 5 syllables, then 7, and then 5 again. If I
That's right,
remember
yeah.
correctly.
I did have to Google the
GCSE English out the window.
Yep.
For you.
Yeah, go on. You ready?
Yeah.
Hit me.
King Tonga Haku, the hardest wrestler to live, he will destroy you.
Good. That's really
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as far
I really
as
like it.
haikus
As far
go,
as haikus go, well, yeah, you
little
describe
bit in there. One of his gimmicks was he was called King. He's from Tonga. One of his gimmicks was King Tonga.
Mhm.
He was called Haku in a later gimmick, and he's known as one of the real life toughest wrestlers backstage. Like nobody would mess with him, and therefore he will destroy you.
He destroys.
It's a bit of a threat at the end there as well. So tick 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 tick.
Lots of
References, haikus, do it
Gimmicks.
all. Yeah, and it rhymed, even though they're not meant to. Haku, you. So yeah, have
Oh,
that
he's got
fucking
it. He's got it all.
Yeah.
Mr. Ronaldo, my GCSE English teacher.
Is this a beef that we didn't know about?
Nah, I actually quite liked him. I was decent at English. I've just fucking forgotten it all.
Don't need it, do you? Really?
Not for
A
haikus,
podcast either
no.
when
No.
you're speaking the language.
I've obviously remembered the least important bits, like how many syllables are
they're in a
in a
haiku.
Yeah.
Haiku.
haiku.
I've forgotten
And
what the type of poem is.
Yeah, you can't even pronounce the fucking name of it.
Can't even say words. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't do a
so
word- do a
yeah,
word right.
we'll be back on normal poem duties next week, I think.
On a limerick.
Yeah, I might do a limerick, might do just a normal one. Might just get the fucking AI to do it, to be honest. I'm not decided yet.
We'll have to come up with a subject. Should we come up with the subjects now for the next week's? So then you've got it on the pod.
Yeah, if
so
you want,
kind
yeah.
of like, so
You have to remind me though, because I don't tend to watch these back, if I'm honest.
what's
But yeah.
is there anything coming up in the wrestling world that you could do one about?
WrestleMania's coming up, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Should we save
Do
that
what
one for
about
WrestleMania?
Cody Rhodes? Winning the Rumble.
Oh, you could do like an epic poem, like specially for WrestleMania. You
Yeah,
know,
do a
like
big one for the Mania.
the Rhyme
a
of the
Road to
Ancient
WrestleMania one.
Mariner or
Yeah.
the Iliad, that kind of thing.
I don't the problem is I'm not too up on the whole WWE stuff. at
I
the
mean, you
moment,
could just
apart
make it
from
up,
Sami
and
Zayn's
I'm not
bits.
going to know. The only person
That
who's
is
going to
true,
call you
yeah.
out is
You
Dan.
could just make,
Yeah, you could
make up
I'll
random
just-
names and all sorts.
Do you know what? I'll give you. Are you going to do it on Backlash 99? Is there a Backlash 99? I remember having
There
it.
will have been, yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
all right.
That's your
That'll have
third.
been
There you go.
I believe that
I think
was,
I've got that on a VHS.
I think Austin and The Rock ran it back on that one, I
Yeah.
believe.
So
If
there you
memory serves. That might be the year before. But yeah, all right, Backlash 99, you can do that.
Nice.
Just remind me.
go. That's your poem for next week. Shall we steer into a bit of showing me, showing everyone the money?
Fucking hell. Partridge, yeah. Yeah, we can play it, but following the games episode, are we going to revert back to the fucking
The
fun way it's
original,
played
yeah.
instead of the bullshit you pulled out that day?
I mean, this one's a bit of bullshit as well, but
Great.
I hope
Okay.
you like it.
Show me the money.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar.
Do you know what I have noticed is
Yeah.
I will sometimes, obviously, like when I'm editing, I'll catch you starting saying like whatever you say at the beginning of this game, and me and Carl are still there having a right little poop in the background.
I think sometimes it's out of sync slightly, isn't it, with what we all hear when we play them? through the
Yeah.
thing,
You've got a
maybe?
few seconds.
Because I've got
afterwards.
because sometimes it doesn't quite work on this. It sounds dreadful, so I have to drop in
The
proper
original.
one.
There's been a couple of episodes, where when Dan is saying his spiel at the start of this, that I've just mimed along with it. So yeah, little
and-
Easter egg for people if they want to go back and watch the
If
episodes on
I-
YouTube.
Pop it in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The world of wrestling is obsessed with money, from ironclad contracts to billion-dollar princesses. We've got money in the bank ladder matches and casino battle royales. As a $1 million man says, everyone's got a price. So this week, I want you to tell me, how many times is the word money said in the Shane McMahon theme song?
Oh. How many times is the word money said?
Oh, he's
Here
thrown
goes
us a
the-
curveball.
The
this week.
entire song.
How
Yes.
long does the song go on for?
All right, 3 minutes. According to
Okay.
the official lyric book that came with, I'm going to say WWF, the music, volume 7.
Mm.
Mm.
Now
Many
here's a
times.
question. How the question is, because you can take a decent enough guess at the court.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's
But
you
the
guess-
verse, how much is it said in the verses?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I don't really know like what part. I'm assuming that the theme to this round is his.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Here
okay.
comes the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
So already
it's
I
the
feel
song.
like I'm at
Yeah,
quite a
you're kind of on the-
disadvantage.
Well, let's do a bit of working out together. So obviously,
Okay.
here comes the money.
Yeah.
Money,
comes
money,
the
money, 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 money,
money.
I think it's 10 in
Yeah.
that little thing.
Yeah.
How many choruses are there? How many choruses, are there in that? Oh, did they say it twice? So I think it's 20 per chorus.
Okay.
So then how many choruses does that song have? Maybe
So you're
3,
gonna go
4?
maybe 3. So it doesn't get mentioned at any other part during the song.
But that's
it's
what,
just
so we're working it out step by step, Phil.
Okay.
So this would be the
Right.
way I would work this out.
this
Right?
is detective work here.
So let's say that's 60 just on choruses, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, verses is a whole other story. Because you would think, all right, you've said money enough. But however, it is a hip hop song and they do tend to talk about money
They
quite
do,
a bit.
yeah.
So, I mean, if there's 3 choruses, that means there's at least 2 verses, depending on how the song ends, right? So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
How does it start?
That's
is
the
it- is that-
start
that's how
of
it
the
starts?
theme
Okay.
tune we've got.
That's right. Okay. So it starts like that. So we're going maybe up to what? Are we looking at maybe 100? As many as that?
Listen, mate.
In a
From here on
3-minute
out,
song?
we're on our own. Can I ask a question, Dan?
Yeah.
Did you count this yourself?
I have.
Or is this-
I've taken the lyrics. I've deleted all the words that are not money, and then I'm counting the amount of.
Can I ask,
what's
why
left.
would you not put the lyrics into Word and just do Control F money and then you find
Just
out how
count how
many it
many.
said?
Yeah, true. Could have done that.
Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah,
look,
could have done that.
Dan works in for a tech company.
I know.
And he's done that in the
I'm
most
actually
manual
quite
way
good at this
possible.
stuff, but yeah.
Fucking hell. Wow. All right. I am going to guess, based on what we just said there, 105 monies.
I'm going to go that there's even more. I'm going to say there's 120.
Okay.
I'm
We
going to say
both
120.
maybe over-egged the pudding there.
Oh, really?
Slightly. There's 70
Oh,
references.
thank God. Okay.
I mean, you
I thought
can't
you were
deny
gonna
the
say
logic
seven.
you were
and the
kind
working
of
out there.
you were kind of close to, like, at the beginning. You missed, like, when you're counting it. It was like, here comes the money, and then you've got, here we go, money. Ugh, you missed that one at the beginning, and then money,
Okay.
money, 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 money. So there's 8 there, and then
Oh, okay.
so
Oh,
there's
yeah,
10.
so yeah,
So we were right because
you were
we
right.
factored
But
in.
you acted it. You had
but,
an extra
yeah.
one, but you didn't.
I thought there was 10 in the beginning.
Yeah. There is 10 actually. Sorry, yeah, because
No, I
comes the
mean-
money, but then that
I
money,
mean, the money,
yeah.
money. I thought there was 10.
Yeah.
I thought there was 9 of them.
And then ching ching, bling bling, cut the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking don't matter. You make $1 $1. Can't a damn soul stop it.
All right,
Shook
we
it
don't
and-
need to hear the
hold
full
on,
thing because
okay.
it's just fucking nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, 70
I
basically.
mean, so a lot of, I mean, our logic was pretty bang on there. Or should I say my logic? Phil did nothing.
But then we
how
just-
many choruses are there?
Bear with me a second. You have one chorus. Well, it depends on what your class as a chorus. Like two long choruses.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, not choruses.
So we
verses.
overshot it with the-
verses. Sorry, there's two verses. So yeah, there is two choruses. Like one chorus in the middle, and then a chorus repeated at the end.
But the beginning has the chorus,
And the
as well,
chorus
right?
as well. So four.
So 3, 4. Okay. So
Four,
we were
but-
pretty bang on, really.
Yeah, four
Got
and then two
just-
verses.
So
the
we were
verse
fine
aspect.
until it got to the actual answer when we
Yeah,
were.
and well, we
were
used
about-
logic on the bits that we could use logic on. The other bits we would just fucking guess because who fucking knows?
Well, there
Who
you
knows
go.
apart from whatever geezer wrote that song? Jim Johnson, probably.
Probably. So,
Um,
do you have fun?
that was
loads.
much better
Yeah.
Much
It's
better
much
than
better
trying to reverse engineer the.
than just trying to
bringing it
fucking. What am I thinking? Yeah.
Just guess something funny. Say
And
something farted on.
did
Miss
we guess
Elizabeth.
something funny? I can't remember what we ended
No, that was a
I-
thing as well. I think Phil, you guessed something really boring. Oh, he turned.
No,
it
it's
to
me.
the-
I
he turned it
guessed
to the venue really.
That was me.
lame.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
just
yeah, you
really
did it.
sincere because we fucking play a game to win, Dan, don't we?
Yeah, I was like, why would I come up? Why would I change it? And goes, oh yeah. Do you know
Why
what?
would you
Okay,
change it? That is a good question. Who knows?
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I've got a John Wiki for you both.
Oh yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
got a theme tune for John Wiki?
No, we need to get
No,
one
we need to
sorted.
get one, don't we?
Yeah.
We need John
So-
Wick to come up with a cool theme song. He probably has got a theme song.
That we can have and
we can-
use
Yeah,
for no
exactly.
money.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then get
We get the Jan from seeing his entrance maybe, and then
Phil
I
says,
don't know, wiki, something like that. I don't know. Anyway,
We'll figure it out. So John Wiki, I start off on John Cena's Wikipedia page and then I fall down a proverbial wrestling rabbit hole. I'm going to test these two giant wrestling nerds to see if they can figure out what, who, where, etc. I'm talking about from the world of wrestling, purely from this Wikipedia page. You ready?
yeah,
as I'll ever be.
We have definitely mentioned, this has been mentioned on the show on here before. So
Oh.
I know that it's
Okay.
something that you'll both know about.
well maybe, but yeah.
As we found out, Carl doesn't listen back to these podcasts. So as soon as it's done, it's purged from his brain.
I do sometimes, but I just drown you both out.
So we have to hope it's. Oh, Carl has to hope it's something he said.
Yeah, exactly.
It was something he said. I remember it very,
Oh,
I remember
bloody
it very,
hell,
dis-
here we
very
go.
You can't get me
distinctly.
to shut up. All right,
Yeah.
go on.
Okay, are you ready? What do you think the first two words are going to be that I'm going to say here?
How
do I use them?
was.
No, it's I debuted.
I did.
Oh yeah, you love that.
I debuted May the 3rd, 1997 for Heartland Wrestling Association.
What year again? So 1997
1997.
for Heartland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've got my buttons ready for right and wrong answers. I'm hoping I'm not going to have to give the right answer immediately. I'm hoping to try and have a little bit of build up for this game.
I think you. I think it would be a bit of a shot in the dark, to be honest.
First one, yeah.
I know that company, but I can't think of any wrestlers who have come out of it.
It was a completely new thing to me as well. I had not heard of
Yeah.
it before.
Mine's going to be a stab in the dark, just for.
Go on, I'll let you go
I'm
first,
trying
mate.
to think of somebody who will be still around now, but a bit. I'm going to say Kofi Kingston. Don't know if that's too early for him. Though, for his
That's a very good guess, but I think it was too
independence,
early.
but yeah.
I was going to say Samoa Joe.
Incorrect, I'm afraid.
Correct.
Okay.
The clue 2. I first wrestled under the name El Piranha. El Piranha. You lived in Spain, Carl. What does that translate to?
The piranha.
The piranha. It's
Um,
nice to see that you brought some of the dialects back.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm full of culture. I have multiple jars of gaucho sauce in my cupboards,
Very good.
full of culture.
Is it?
El
El Piranha.
When we say debuted
Yes.
on the first question,
Mhm.
are we saying that's their first ever match?
I believe. Yeah, I'm going with it as this is the first time they wrestled professionally.
Okay.
Yeah. It usually, if it says like they do amateur stuff, it'll say, "Oh, they wrestled amateurly doing this before moving on to." Their
But
first
what
big
about
break."
if they wrestled elsewhere, but professional wrestling, but in, say, Mexico?
Then I would have said whatever they were doing in Mexico
Okay.
as their debut.
Oh,
All about
very,
the professionalism.
very tricky. This. Any ideas, Dan?
Trying to think if it's something you've said before as well, but I'm gonna. All right, I'll guess. Is Rey Mysterio too late for a debut? Because they're in a random. I'm just thinking under.
He was wrestling when he was like fucking still in nappies, wasn't
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
say.
would-
Yeah, it's not Rey Mysterio. I'm gonna say Rey Mysterio so we can move on to the next.
Okay, it's a good idea. Yeah, let's try and get this going.
he?
So
Carl?
no.
Oh,
That was a
yeah,
no.
obviously.
Sorry, I was trying to buy time, and then instead,
I know. I've really tried to help you both on this one, and it's not gone very well.
instead of buying time, I just berated Dan for his shit answer instead of thinking about what it could
Your own
be.
answer.
I was just trying to help him.
Cool, I'd suggest saying Rey Mysterio.
El Piranha. Bobby Fish.
To be honest, his age sort of. Go on.
I'm afraid that
Okay.
is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Okay. I also wrestled as Dean Baldwin, the fictional fifth, lesser-known Baldwin brother.
Oh fuck me!
Dean Baldwin.
I've never heard of this.
Oh, really? Oh, that's new. I found this quite
As
entertaining.
in, like Alec Baldwin and
yeah, as in,
What's the
as in
other one?
Stephen
There's
Baldwin.
Stephen.
Alec, Stephen, I think Daniel might be one of them,
yeah.
and then another one whose
I
name I
reckon-
can't remember.
Does
So
this?
this is like peak
So yeah, so he
American
was.
indies then.
Yeah.
So he would turn up and wrestle, be like, "Yeah, I'm the other Baldwin guy that you haven't heard of."
97.
Yeah, but you might not have been that in '97, right?
No,
You
that's
could
what I
have
mean. If he
been-
debuted, I'm thinking if he debuted in '97, that puts him about 40-ish. Yeah, and it's like, and again,
What are you on about? How do you know that?
I don't know. I'm just
How could you possibly know that and not know the fucking guy's name?
because you've got to sort of like assume when they were born, like to be debuting around '97.
All right.
Like,
Well,
that
when
means
do you
they
reckon
were
he's born?
Like
Fucking hell! I tell you what, if he
he's debuting in
gets the
97
year he was born, he could have both fucking
if he was
points.
if he was debuted in '97, that must
Yeah.
mean he must have been at least 18 or 17. So I'm going to say he was either born in between 79 or 80. Yes. Yeah. 70.
You're
Unless he
wrong.
debuted really was. Okay.
He was. they
I
weren't born in 79 or 80.
I actually have a thought on this now.
They were born in 75, so they're 48
75.
years old.
Okay. So
48.
alright, so a few years older.
Wait, they were 48 when they debuted.
No.
No,
he's
I was in there
48.
48 now.
Yeah. So we've just been snuck another.
Oh fuck it! Was that a clue or not?
Yeah. No. That's
It wasn't
just-
linked to
we've-
anyone,
we've
but I was just trying to answer Dan's
milked-
question.
milked
Trying
that
to
one
figure
out.
That's
out
actually-
how I'm gonna get it.
That's actually changed what I was going to guess.
Oh, has it? Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give
I
us a
was
guess.
I don't know what my new guess is now that I've got that information.
All right. It's
Um,
just eradicated the old
I'm
one.
gonna chuck one out there.
Go on.
Excalibur.
Oh, that's not bad.
afraid
I
not.
guess. So my guess was going to be John Moxley, because of Dean. He was called Dean Ambrose, but he's younger than 48, isn't he? Dean Malenko.
No, not
Ooh,
97.
Interesting, but no.
He'd have been a bit earlier than 97, but
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
I regularly wrestled for the Brian Pillman memorial shows, and I garnered a cult following due to my performances at said event. Brian Pillman, who me and Carlos discussed
Yes.
a few weeks ago.
That one hasn't helped to narrow it down to anybody. I'm still thinking it's somebody. It's an American indie, and I don't know. That's why I thought Excalibur.
So, I think this could be a Canadian, actually.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna stick with my random indie. I'm gonna say Super Dragon, but I reckon he was probably Super Dragon all the way throughout his career, wasn't
My guess is Teddy Hart.
he?
Incorrect.
Is
Both
that
of you, I'm
both of
afraid.
us?
Tell you what, I'll try and speed it up a little bit.
We should have a bit of music under this, because
I
it feels
know.
a bit tense, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I like
Okay.
it.
Right. Hopefully this is gonna.
Is this the
kickstart
one
game a little
before the rhyming one?
bit. No.
He sounds like blah blah.
I opened a wrestling school called the Shark Tank, which does not appear to still be open.
Okay. Is it just Shark Boy?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh,
It is. It's Shark Boy.
do you know what? I thought that when it was El Piranha, and that was going to be my next guess, but then the Dean Baldwin thing completely threw me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like a really he's sort of stuck with like aquatic life,
Yeah,
and then
And then
made
that's
up
just completely out of
Baldwin.
left field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, very good.
The thing that I remember us discussing was he filed a lawsuit in June 2005 against Miramax over the film The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl in 3D. And this is a quote from Miramax, who tried to dismiss the claim. It said, plaintiff is a male whose services are rendered only when he is wearing a costume depicting shark-like attributes.
But I mean, he still had the name Shark Boy, did he?
Yeah.
So could be very easily confused.
Yeah.
He once had a gimmick where he was still Shark Boy, but he basically did the Stone Cold Steve Austin gimmick. So he would wear like the vest, and he would like walk down to the ring.
That
and all that. It
was
great.
that was clue number 10.
Was it?
Yeah. He seems to have had quite an interesting and
he's never quite like made it, but he's been around for years.
Yeah, but he seems to have had quite a lot of fun with his gimmicks. When other wrestlers have to do horrible stuff like
he like one of those who doesn't take himself too seriously, and I think it was kind of sometimes that can be to people's detriment.
Yeah.
He must have got a fucking wedge from Miramax, because I think he won that lawsuit as well.
Oh, did he? It didn't say what the outcome was.
I'm pretty sure he got like one of those like he won an undisclosed sum kind of thing.
Right. Don't Google it, because that's a show me the money.
Oh yeah, have a look.
Can
yeah,
I've just got another clue to read out, which said I was involved in a 6-way scramble match at Joey Ryan's penis party WrestleCon during WrestleMania 35, which I believe is the one that we went to.
It was, yeah. I actually remember I was reading about that, because I think he had a lot of people dressed like dicks walking around as he used to do. Although he is a massive wrong-un, apparently, and he got Me Too'd when the whole wrestling Me Too thing happened.
Shark Boy did.
No, Joey Ryan.
Sorry,
What,
Joey
you mean-
Ryan. Sorry,
You mean
Joey
the guy
Ryan.
who actively wants people to dress up as giant penises?
No.
Yeah,
He's
and
a bit
also
of a-
grab one of his moves was they like grab his dick and then he moves and
the
they
penis
flip
flex.
over.
Yeah, they do a
So,
So I mean, all the signs were there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because I followed him on Twitter, and then
Mm.
obviously there was a mass exodus of everyone on Twitter. I left it and I kept following him, and
Right.
he tried to pivot into acting and being
Yeah, was he like
all
working at
Christian
Disneyland
boy.
or something?
Oh, I don't know, but it was like he was acting in these like student films and stuff to try to build up, and he kept posting his Twitter basically was just he went all mega Christian and like mega like I'm a good boy now and like
The old
combed
road
hair
to
and,
redemption, eh?
like shaved everything and just left the mustache and just tried to be all sort of like Midwestern Mormon Christian. Like, it was really weird, and his account was just like constantly posting stuff about that. And like all these, I'm trying to get into acting, and it was just like, good luck, fuck you. Like, everyone just sort of piling in on him.
That is a prick, isn't he?
There's another. I've stopped following. Do you know Michael Elgin?
Yeah.
Who apparently stole some whey protein from a dojo in Japan and thingy. His Twitter account is again veered off. I've had to stop following that because he's having a breakdown on Twitter like since he's been released. But it's funny sort of watching those wrestlers that got Me Too'd and then them trying to sort of revive a career, and then just having a sort of glimpse into what they're trying to do on the Twitters, on the socials. It was
I mean, I don't know if it's really worth a subject at a later date, but like, it's interesting. Like, for example, Miramax, obviously Harvey Weinstein was the head of Miramax, and it was a complete fucking wronging as well. And but he's gone through like convictions recently and all that stuff. I think he got sentenced like however long in prison, 20 years or something. Yeah. But they're like in lesser profile areas, but still with kind of following, like wrestling, so many fucking wrongings, and a load of stuff comes out about people, and then just nothing happens. Like, they just basically, even fucking Vince McMahon, the amount of shit about him, and it just goes away. Like, it's a fucking horrible industry.
I was gonna say, it's one of those horrible things that it can sometimes just be he said, she said.
Yeah,
and that's unfortunately how we have to go off. The actual like conviction rate of stuff like sexual assault.
Oh yeah,
and rape
terrible.
is just
and that's reported ones as well. Like, that's not even including ones that aren't reported. So people who fucking use their positions of power want fucking castrating and thrown off a bridge for all I care.
Yeah. Instead, be more like Shark Boy and get in a comedic tag team with someone called Curry Man.
Yes. Oh, Curry Man.
Curry Man.
Is that Christopher Daniels?
Yeah. All right. Is that? It's not a race.
It was like a jokey thing he used to do. It wasn't like he was a proper wrestler. He had a good. He was called the Fallen Angel.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like he used to kind of do that on the side for a laugh, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't do.
All right.
That's okay. Like that. It was just. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, from that into this.
Well, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event.
So the main event this week is polygamy. Polygamy is marrying multiple spouses. And the most common form is, I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, polygyny, which is a man with multiple wives.
Of course it is.
Is it a Mormon thing, this?
It is a Mormon thing. Polygamy is banned in the United States, except in Utah, where the legal it's not illegal. It's kind of, I don't know, frowned upon, I guess.
Right.
So there's like no polygamy anywhere else in America, and then just fucking everyone's gone to Utah
to go get polygamy
and does it there. Although it could be like, because in the UK it is legal.
Is it?
Yeah, but you can only have one marriage, so you could technically be
in a.
So technically, Dan, you or your wife could go, well, we're married, but I still want to be with another person. That would be legal. If you're like, I want to marry them as well.
Yeah.
Nah, not happening.
No. I mean,
because isn't
people don't go to prison for this though anywhere, do they?
No, I think they do. Isn't it bigamy?
It's bigamy over here.
That's what it's called when you marry multiple people. Or if you marry somebody else and you haven't divorced that person, it's.
So you're telling me, in like, I don't know, Baltimore, one of the heroin capitals of America.
Okay.
If someone has a wife and then has a girlfriend, the police are going to arrest them.
No, you can. That's fine. No, it's about marrying them. You cannot.
Yeah, I think it's about multiple marriages.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've found a news article from the British press, which is a guy who's in is it a thruple? He's in. There's three women and him.
Yeah.
So is
Like
that not,
us.
is
Oh,
that
three
not a
women.
quad?
3 women in him. Oh, yes, he's in a
What's that?
Three women.
quad.
You sent the fucking
Quadruple.
article.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
not read it?
I forgot. I forgot the article, yeah. No, I
I've
forgot,
not,
I forgot that it was 3 women. Yeah.
You didn't send this to me. I wasn't. Did I
No,
get sent
yeah,
this? Did I?
Yeah.
We probably replied with a word or two.
Yeah,
Instead.
Probably, yeah. And it got buried under everyone's
Right.
photo.
I've not read it,
Okay.
so I don't have a clue what's happening.
Well,
here,
this
so-
will be new to you as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
news article, news to me. Hit me.
Okay. So the headline is self-confessed trophy husband with 3 wives says they work while I stay home.
Oh.
And then it says
Fucking dream, innit?
Yeah. Using chess pieces to help explain his complicated situation.
How many fucking wives does he have?
There's only 4 people. I don't really think you need to start bringing in chess pieces unless they all like we all move
Well,
differently.
that's the
One of
thing,
us
it's
can only
like,
move
yeah.
diagonally. The other one moves in an L shape around the house. Yeah. So he said, Dad of 2, Nick Davis, says the king doesn't move around much while the queens have all the power. A self-described trophy husband stays at home while his 3 wives go out and work full-time jobs. Dad of 2, Nick Davis, doesn't work as the king doesn't move around much while the queens have all the power. As for his 3 wives, wait, okay, so he is married 3 times. And this is from a UK thing. Oh,
This must be. But is it wives? Is he just calling them wives and they're not actually married?
Well, we will find out, won't
Let's
we?
find out how he's bypassed the bigamy rules.
Yeah. As for his 3 wives, April, Danielle, and Jennifer, all of them work full-time jobs. One of his wives describes Nick as too much to handle in bed. Nick met his first wife, April, at university 15 years ago before welcoming Jennifer into their marriage 9 years later. That to me sounds like it's more like we know we can't marry you. We've got to
Yeah.
please come into the house.
What does this fucking geezer look like?
Do you want me to share my screen with you so you can have a look?
Yeah, I want to see what this fucking Adonis is.
That's in there. Yeah. It's one of those things.
Carl's like, what do
When you sort of
That's
watch
a good hat.
programs of people who are in like polygamous relationships,
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's like what has ruined our minds, but we all expect them all to be absolutely fucking stunning people. And it's just like, you just kind of look a bit normal.
Yeah, I tell you what, they all look very different on that first picture to the second one.
The second one, yeah.
They look all right. I'm not judging anyone by their looks, but
Are you judging?
that higher angle is definitely working hard,
Yeah.
isn't it? Fuck me. Anyway, go on. crack on.
David Hay is in a thruple, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that
But
was the other.
maybe this is just going to be like non-news though from now going forward. People are
forwards.
just going to be like,
I mean, it's the
and
modern
also
world, isn't it?
famous people are doing all sorts of fucking weird shit that we don't know about. So this is, our future king likes getting pegged. For example,
apparently.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should
Come
probably
on.
say that as.
I'm the one
that
that gets strikes on these videos. Let's not. That's more for music. We don't want to be getting libel strikes.
Okay, allegedly he likes it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be one of those ones where it becomes the norm, isn't it? Or like less people are going to get married because of this. Because I've just looked and it's 7 years imprisonment for bigamy. But then I suppose
what kind of manipulation do you have to pull to convince not 1, not 2, but 3 fucking girls who look a lot younger than you to work while you stay home, play PlayStation, and wank yourself stupid? That's what I want to know.
Well, that's the thing. He's not playing. He's not
Well,
wanking himself stupid.
I don't think he is wanking himself stupid. Because it says here, it all works out for them as April, 38, is happy to have an extra woman in the relationship to meet Nick's needs. So they've been together for a while, and she's just like, I can't keep up with this guy. Someone else can come in and...
Well, I'm not surprised. She's fucking doing the job of 4 people at that point, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's true.
It was on a documentary, TLC's Seeking Sister Wife. I love these
So I had to look up what a sister wife was because I had no idea.
What is a sister wife?
A sister wife is
A wife's sister.
any of the same women married to the same man in a polygamous society. Is the official definition.
Right.
Okay. So is that's what they call each other. She's my sister wife.
Yeah,
Ah, interesting.
is a bit weird in my eyes, but
I mean,
It's only language, isn't it? We're living in a world where language is being skewed left, right, and centre.
I know we're like looking at this and having a bit of a laugh here, but this is full on grooming.
Do you
isn't it?
reckon?
Fucking, he
grooming-
was 39-year-old husband to Jennifer, 25, who was just 19 when she met him. Yes.
It was
do.
April, no, because it was the woman who, introduced her to her husband.
Yes, exactly.
So she'll have been at work and gone. "Here you
Oh
go."
yeah, I didn't. That bit didn't clock.
Well, I mean,
that is
19,
not good,
19,
is it?
19 is still, yes, it's young, but then at the same time, it's
she's
like,
an
fucking
adult.
very young. What are you on about? I don't care.
But
whether
that is
it's
always
legal,
that
it's
is always
wrong.
the case, isn't it? It's like even with David here right now, isn't it? It's like he's with. I was surprised because it kind of like it was a bit of a blur when I kind of read the article, and then I had a double look at it. It's Una from the Saturdays. She's like the fittest one out of the Saturdays. I was like, what? And anyway, so he's in a relationship with her.
What
and
the
then-
fuck is the Saturdays?
Do you not know who the Saturdays are? Oh,
No.
they were peak university girl band.
Oh,
There was who was
I
in
thought it was like
Saturdays.
a-
There was
All I remember
reality
is
show or something.
Una, really, which is the Irish one, and then one of them's married to.
there's a cricket
Wayne Bridge.
connection. There's a cricket connection as
I was
well.
one of them married to a cricketer.
Molly King is in a relationship with Stuart Broad.
Oh, right,
It
there
was
we
just
go
a
then.
baby.
And yeah, and then the dark-haired one is with Wayne Bridge. I say the dark-haired one. I think it isn't three of them that have dark hair. Yeah, so
That's where my knowledge goes.
right.
When
Let's
he's
come on. Let's
Yeah.
crack on because fuck me, we don't need to run down the Saturdays and their fucking relationships.
We've already
do
done
we,
the
Liz?
Sugar Babes on this
Jesus.
podcast. We're a
Yeah.
girl band podcast. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was
anyways,
actually
David
April-
Hayes, his Mrs. Or sister wife is like, she's at like 18, well, not 18, 19, that's maybe a bit libelous again, but she's very young, a lot younger than David Hay and Una from the Saturdays.
Right. Is
So
that
kind
it
of-
on David Hay?
Yeah.
Let Phil read the fucking article.
It was actually April who introduced her 39-year-old husband to Jennifer, 25, who was just 19 at the time. So she's been with him for 6 years and met them when she was 19. And he would have been 33.
Hmm.
That's yeah.
I mean, if I told you, I've just been out and I'm gonna get a 19-year-old girl to live with me and be my second girlfriend.
And your partner.
What the
yeah.
fuck would you think there? You'd be like, "What are you doing, you sicko?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we would be. No, we'd be like, hey, what's happened here?
Exactly. Yeah.
But I reckon there's a lot of context that's probably missing from that. Like,
Do you reckon?
I reckon they probably swung a bit as well. Before they wouldn't have gone from standard. What is the standard non-polyamorous relationship? Monogamous. That's the phrase,
like the
yeah.
the one that you're like
The one that
eternally
is-
bound to in front of
Yeah.
like the law.
Well, no, because this is a polyamorous. Though, is it? No, monogamous. So yeah, so you don't go from a monogamous relationship for X amount of years and then just wake up one morning and then she'll roll over in the morning and go, "Hey, do you fancy having a monogamous
Yeah.
relationship?" There's
Yeah. But that's not the point, is it? The point is that they've groomed a 19-year-old girl. Whether they've done it many times isn't the point. The point is that they are doing it and it's fucking wrong.
fair enough.
Nick explained he likes to be snuggled up in the middle of his wives in bed, but sex always occurs in a different area of the home with each wife.
Aw, imagine if you get like the utility room.
Yeah. Hey, if you're sitting on a washing machine or a tumble dryer while that's going on,
Do you think he rather
That
than
could
calling
be,
them by their names, he just calls them like
The
ensuite?
rooms.
Come on, we're off. Basement dweller. Come on,
Oh,
let's
God.
go. Garden shed, you're up.
That's what. They've got like a little structure out for the week. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Like different.
it's like
different rooms of the
Cluedo,
house.
isn't it? It's Cluedo.
Yeah.
Wife number 2.
Come on, Miss Scarlett, get you. I'm gonna give you my lead piping in the in the library.
Garage.
They don't have a fucking library. If they do, it's just got
No.
one book in it, the Kama Sutra, and that's it.
Oh dear.
The family appeared on Seeking Sister Wife, which we now know what that is, last year, where they welcomed 22-year-old Danielle into the
Oh
relationship.
yeah, no grooming going on here, is there? 39 getting a 22-year-old in. Fucking hell.
Oh, and then it says in a wedding ceremony with his 2 other wives. So he is.
See, I reckon
does have
it's,
2
it's,
wives.
it's one of those marriage ceremonies. I'm surprised they didn't put a wedding ceremony because it wasn't an actual wedding. Because again, yeah, if it's
Yeah,
in
'cause
UK,
But where they
it
live,
is-
how do you know? They live in Utah.
maybe if they moved to Utah too, that's why they went on to Finding Me a Sister Wife.
I bet that's what they call the kid, Utah. Or Polly, if it's a girl.
Do you know what? It doesn't
Um,
actually say where they're from, so I'm not entirely sure if this is.
I think
UK or not? How is it?
They're American, 100%
Oh,
American.
fuck no. Do you know what? It does say US News in the.
Yeah, and they were on a
the
TLC
link.
show.
Yeah. Okay, then that makes a bit more sense.
Oh, right,
All right.
well,
Cool.
Well, America's just fucking wild, so. Where are we? In a wedding ceremony with his 2 other wives, Nick claimed he was living the dream as he committed to Danielle. He said, "Having 3 wives, knowing that we've all solidified our union and brought it together like we have, it's just unbelievable. I just feel like I'm just living a dream come true." He said the word "just" far too many times. Just unbelievable. I just feel like I'm just. That's my criticism of this.
Mm.
Danielle concluded, "I honestly didn't think I could ever be this happy. I didn't think happiness like this existed until I found a love like this." So, you know.
Vera.
Yeah. So they've now
Nick
got,
has
now
an
got a
older
first
teenager
child
from
called,
a
called
previous-
Vera. Yeah. Well, Nick also had
from
an
a
older teenage
previous
son.
relationship.
So, you know, they're bringing up
Vera.
kids as are you taking umbrage at the name Vera?
Imagine being in like a nice modern, like, yeah, we're all together relationship, and then calling your daughter the oldest fucking name you can think of.
But is it my nice and modern? Because it's like obviously that is a very.
I would say it's, yeah, I would say, well, it depends how you look at it, doesn't it? If
It
it's
is
for
modern.
religious purposes, it's obviously kind of like a Mormon thing, then that's not. But this feels like
Yeah.
quite a progressive lifestyle to
Yeah.
me.
Which quite
One that
clearly you
I
are
Fundamentally disagree with.
100% dead against.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are you actually like just dead against the whole thing? Or is
I'm
that-
fucking against grooming, yeah, 100%. I'm against their fucking setup, definitely. Horrible fucking prick, isn't he? Clearly.
Carl's on the record
But-
on the podcast that he.
but- Just to imagine, like, imagine hearing this story relative to someone you know. You'd be
Yeah.
like, they're off their fucking box. Why would you admit this stuff? Like, especially in the world of like Me Too and all of this stuff. I sat here reading an article about them showing off about it.
Are you? So you're hung up on the 19-year-old girl, aren't you?
Specifically, yes, with this.
Yeah, yes.
'Cause
Okay,
it's
well, I've-
fucking wrong.
I've got a theoretical question for the two of you. Okay.
Go on.
So Dan, you're married. It's been
Yes.
nearly a year now, and Carl, you're getting married this year.
I am.
So your wife or future wife comes up to you and says, "Look, I love you, but I want someone else in the relationship." And you're like, "Oh, okay. I wonder who they're going to suggest." How do you react if they turn around and they say that person, the extra person in your relationship, is me?
I mean, can I be honest, mate?
It feels like you already.
I've always felt your destiny was to like live above my garage anyway, so it's kind of probably is
probably
going to
gonna happen
happen.
anyway.
It would, yeah.
Um,
You would be invited in. Not it would be purely sexual. It would be like in a mother father style.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be like, listen, that's fine because not a not a worry at all. But we
No.
have to treat him like you would like a cat or a dog. Like he lives outside. He's got like a little house there, and he comes in only when we let him in, and he's not allowed on the fucking sofa.
And I will respond by going outside and bringing you gifts of dead birds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's what I'll do.
Yeah,
And I'll vomit all over
that.
the floor every now and again.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
There
And
we
Dan?
go. We're
Dan,
into the
what-
future. I'd be just like, his head's had a knock on the head or something.
What?
That's almost worse than mine because I was trying to be funny. That was just his genuine reaction. Oh god.
Although I'd be like, hey, gets us through airports pretty quickly, so
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that would be a massive benefit.
But then you
If
have to
I'm
fucking put up with him.
This is
Yeah.
my husband and wife here.
husband,
Yeah.
wife.
That's the thing though, isn't it? When it's and you know, not to be sexist or anything, but it feels a bit weird when it feels more weird if it's two guys and a girl. So, oh, this is my husband, but you're not
That's
bisexual.
They have that in Avenue 5, which is a comedy series with oh god, Hugh Laurie. Laurie, is that yeah?
Yeah,
That's
House.
a name. Yeah.
Brian
Yes.
Laurie, yeah. Someone's name, yeah.
It is somebody's name, yeah, and he's in that's what he was in, a male female thruple.
There's a different name if it's multiple husbands as opposed to multiple wives,
Oh,
Which is-
really?
Oh, is there?
which is polyandry.
Polyandry.
Ooh.
You've got lots of dudes.
Interesting.
Oh,
I'm assuming
yeah,
that
Sausage
applies to if you're gay or bisexual and you have married to a man as a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume that the majority of them are one man, multiple women.
Yeah. So I read that there was in places like West Africa, there was a trend that there's more polygamy as a result of maybe from the slave trade, because obviously us white folk went over there, took a load of people, and all of a sudden there was,
The numbers.
there was massive discrepancies in the gender numbers between men and women.
That could maybe be a bit of a religious thing as well, potentially. Though.
Yeah, there's something written in some of the scriptures of, I think, Buddhism and Islam.
I was going to say, isn't Islam?
Because that's what my kind of feeling is like. I don't know, the Mormonism religious side of this, and just a guy wanting to get his end away with 3 different women at once are 2 very different sides of the spectrum here, if you know what I mean. They're 2 very different subject matters almost.
Which is,
I feel like religious is kind of, let's just take that off the table. This is all about guys wanting to, like I said, sit around, play PlayStation, wank themselves stupid while their wives are out making the money, so that and then they can come back, probably make him dinner. Do you reckon he ever cooks, that guy? Not that I ever do, but do you reckon he ever cooks?
I'm going to say, do you know what? I'm going to say yes. I reckon he cooks all the goddamn time.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, he's at
home all day,
he's at home. He's making all the food. He's doing all the. Oh no,
What does he
he
do
doesn't
all
any of
day?
that.
What does he do all day?
What I don't get as well is, why do all 3 of them
buys
need
purple
full-time
shirts
jobs?
and necklaces. You are?
Why do all 3 of them need full-time jobs? That's
Why
I mean,
do
they might be terrible at their jobs.
because
they
it's
might
not,
not
it's
be
not, it's
able
not
to
like
pay
they have
anything.
lots of. Yeah, I guess they might have
Probably not earning the
low
big
paying
bucks
ones.
like you either, Dan.
Yeah.
They're probably on they're probably waitresses or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
that would
quite harsh,
That would be a
but-
full-time
Yeah.
job. That wouldn't
Yeah.
get you too much.
I just thought it's one of those ones where you don't. That's 3 household incomes, or three incomes coming into the household. Like you only.
Yeah, but you're
traditionally-
supporting. I mean,
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, maybe they'll want to go on holiday twice a year.
Yeah.
So I had a
Joint
little
account.
cheeky look at the comments on the article. And,
Oh, yeah.
the first 2
Lot-
are just
lot
sort
of
of quite
lads.
like, oh, good for them. Like that's nothing to do with me. I'm glad they're happy. And
Yep.
I'm just going to read the first line that someone called Maxter has written down. Are you both ready?
Yeah.
Maxter said, "Fat birds are always more grateful. He has carefully assessed this and uses it to his advantage."
Oh, that's
Oh God.
Which is just what a imagine having that thought and then going, do you know what? I'm going to write it down somewhere for
Yeah, for
loads of
everyone to
people,
see.
everyone to see, so they can see what my horrible opinions are.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
That is an opinion, isn't it?
Anyway, join us for next week's episode, and Maxter will be appearing as
Yeah,
a very special guest.
Do you think you can see his other comments on articles? Because he sounds like a
God,
nice guy to keep in touch with, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe he's a wrestling fan. Let's get him on.
It wouldn't
drop him a
surprise me
message.
if he was a fan.
Well,
So that's a little bit on polygamy.
yeah.
Wait,
in real life.
I gave a fair few views on that in terms of how I
Yeah.
feel on the subject, specifically around those that knobhead. What are your two thoughts on the fundamentals of the subject?
Go on, Phil.
Taking him out of it.
Okay,
Dan's got to be very careful here, hasn't he?
I feel as long as you are honest with other people about like how you live your life, then it's fine. Like I don't. Obviously, there's the possibility in a situation like this that people have been groomed from a young age, which is obviously disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to kind of let people get on with their lives in these sort of situations. Like it's not for us to judge. It doesn't work. It might not be for all of us. Go on.
Do you know what's interesting about it? Dan? In fact, you answer, and then I'll...
All I was just going to say is, like I mentioned earlier, you don't go from being in a monogamous relationship and then one day wake up, roll over, and go, okay, right, poly. It's one of those things which
you've always been wired that way.
You've always been wired to have like you've either like as soon as you started having relationships at an early age, a constant cheater or something like that, or always looking to date multiple people. You're confident in dating multiple people, spinning multiple plates, and being in a romantic or sexual environment with multiple people at the same time. And then that kind of then maybe spins off. I said earlier, didn't I? Like, probably swingers or something like that. And it's I think in a lot of like again, moving from the religious side of it, but from that side of it, and where we're going to go from the wrestling side, it's clearly there's a sexual element behind it where it is just sort of.
That feels like the big part of it for this geezer, at least.
Well,
but just one sec. Sorry, can I just say what's interesting there is you have both. Well, mainly you, Phil, actually, but you both. When I said what's your opinion on it, I kind of meant like in terms of how would you feel about it being part of your life, but how you answered that was about other people.
Well,
interesting.
Can you cast your minds back a couple of years? We're in America, okay? The three of us for WrestleMania. I get talking to. I was the single one out of the three of us, so I was hitting dating apps quite hard. And I actually met up with someone one night, and it was a bit of a surprise to me when she told me. She didn't tell me before we met up, but told me when we'd actually met up that night on a date. That she was already in a relationship with someone, but they had an open relationship. And then she said she wasn't going to have sex with me because she was like, "Oh, I haven't seen the other guy for 2 weeks," and we say it's unfair. If we can't make time for other people. If we can't make time for each other, then we shouldn't really be doing it with other people, which I think was a pretty good rule to have. But then she was like, "Do you want to come back to mine?" And I was getting very mixed signals.
Yeah,
but that's slightly different because that is one emotional and physical relationship, and then many physical relationships.
Yeah,
that is true.
Fleeting physical relationships.
That is true.
Whereas this is multiple emotional and physical relationships happening within one environment. So
I guess the emotional side always gets overlooked because immediately everyone just goes, "Oh, it's obviously about fucking." Like this. Yeah, I
think for this geezer.
Yeah, even that article was just like that. There was no real. Although they said at the end they were very happy. You've got to bring those emotions.
Yeah, but I think for that guy, from how it read, it was all about that. But I do think there's probably something in people who do this because it's like a big
Well, there's you read
family.
stories,
Do you
yeah.
know what I
It's
mean?
like, oh,
Yeah.
I've got too much love to give to just one person, and that's again a lot of the times that's when it goes beyond the sexual side of it. It's like, oh, I just have so much love to give. I need to give it to multiple different people, and it's sorry, not physical.
That
as in
must be
sexual love,
that must be
as
quite a
in-
nice feeling to have. I guess.
Yeah.
If you have too much, not like the fucking bitter.
I don't know how anyone has the fucking energy for it. One person is.
But that's
more
it.
than
Yeah,
enough,
it's
Yeah.
that's I think I've got-
Get a fucking pet. Get a dog or a cat if you need to fucking have something else. Do you know what I mean? They
it's
don't talk
interesting
back.
because it's like it's basically like having again, because it's always one person coming into an already a pre-existing relationship, isn't it? So it's like having a roommate.
Yeah.
But
Do you think it's like people who are really fucking codependent and just can't be about the other
Maybe.
person? So like, we're just going to
Maybe.
get multiple of it. Also, can you imagine listening to this podcast for the first time, being like, is it a wrestling podcast? Like,
Yeah.
I was going to say,
they mentioned fucking Shark Boy at the top of it, but
Yeah.
apart from that, they didn't really talk about wrestling too
well,
much.
let's not talk about it anymore in this context.
well, we can
on,
talk
we'll
around
move
it
on
in
to
the
the
context of because
Let's
obviously
do a strong 5 on wrestling. Let's
Yeah.
get that
But
fuck
we've-
out of here.
well, I mean, again, we'll continue talking about the subject, but I think instead of talking coyly around the guy that we're talking about, like this other guy in the wrestling, Carl, I don't know if you agree, is Rob Van Dam. He's in a throuple.
He is in a throuple.
Yeah. So
Well, I think he just shags porn stars basically, and he's just got a revolving door of them.
well, no, because
from
he's
what
with his partner, isn't he? He's been with for a few years now. And I forgot the person's name who he's.
Oh
with.
yeah, she's
Katie
always in it.
Forbes.
Yeah, she brings him out to the ring and stuff sometimes. doesn't
Yeah,
she?
so she's
I was
been-
going
Yeah,
to
but
say,
isn't-
is she?
So
from,
he's
like, the
actually
wrestling
married.
world?
He's actually married. He's actually
Yeah.
married to.
Well,
Katie
she's
Forbes.
not. I think she's a porn star, but she is now.
I think she's
part of the
actual.
wrestling
She's a
world.
wrestler now, isn't she? Ian?
Yeah,
What was
She's
she
got
called?
What is it?
sorry?
fake abs.
Katie Forbes. But isn't he married to her, and then the rest of them are just in and out because they're just Insta?
Well, no. He's in an actual throuple with Katie
is he?
Forbes is his wife, and then Jennifer Barlow is his girlfriend.
Sounds like an EastEnders character.
Yeah, she
Jennifer Barlow,
She
or a Coronation
is
Street character.
I believe she's a YouTube star, and but she's like
Right.
in her 30s and stuff like that. So, but she's not like been groomed. But it's-
Yeah, how long have they been together? And how old's he?
Well, it was since like 2019. He was they announced it. In 2020 they had a celebration, let's put it this way, on Impact, where he had both of them on there, and this is when Impact was going through the turbulent times of trying to find a channel again.
Oh yeah.
And they were being broadcast on Twitch, and they got banned. The channel, actually, Impact.
Yeah, I remember
got
that,
banned on
actually, yeah.
Twitch because
What, because
I
of
can't remember
this?
which one it was.
It was
So
too
they had-
explicit.
Too explicit. They basically had. So it was kind of like not an homage, but a sort of many years ago. Edge and Lita did a live sex show celebration, and even that one went a bit R-rated, didn't it? Because he lifted up the quilt, and she was actually
Saw half a tit, didn't we?
saw booby, like the amount.
Oh,
of
I thought you were going
screen
to be
grabs from
like
that,
she was properly like noshing him off or something. That's what I was expecting. Not
No,
oh,
it was
you
all
just saw a
very,
bit,
like,
bit of
it was all
boob.
very covered.
Yeah, but she actually had a bra off, didn't she? So
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that was in WWE, and they had like it was kind of like an homage, but it was kind of going.
But that was
going
one of like the
above.
highest rated segments at the time as well, wasn't
Exactly,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Weirdly, yeah.
And this one is kind of like a callback to that, and he was like, "Well, if Edge can have one, I've got two." And he brought out his girlfriend, and one of them shouted, "I want to see that RVD dick," and he sort of whipped off his dressing gown, and he was
Rob
bollocked
Van
because-
Dyck.
Rob Van Dyck, yeah. But yeah, they got banned on Twitch. The actual broadcast, the program was like, because they were struggling to find a channel, was on Twitch at the time, and they got banned on Twitch for God knows how long because of it. But yeah, he's been in this.
But
Go
what
on.
did he actually do wrong though?
It was just what the
It
actions
was
they were
really
had with
the action.
like,
They were basically
too
like
explicit.
they smeared him in.
Oh,
paint,
right.
they
Oh,
started
right, okay,
writhing around
okay,
on a
sorry,
bed,
yeah.
simulating sex.
simulated
basically.
sex.
Oh,
which is obviously
I didn't pick up on that
against
particular
Twitch.
part. Okay, that's fair enough.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Against Twitch, and it was like
Even have to
basically
dance
a
for
thriller.
a explanation of the Edge's live sex celebration?
Sorry.
No, I'm saying he didn't pick up on that part,
Yeah.
despite you explaining
Explaining that
the
it was,
reference.
yeah, parts of the
Phil,
scene there was.
have we ever spoke about Rob Van Dam before?
His name has definitely come up, but
Have
it
you seen a
might
picture
have
of him?
only been. I might not have done actually. I think
'Cause
he's come up
obviously,
in.
I think you can
in a
probably
Wham
guess
a while ago.
why he's called Rob Van Dam, right?
Yeah, let me just type him into Google and see.
He's the
what
fucking spitting image of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but a bit smaller and has a ponytail.
And we'll bring this up on
Shags
the.
multiple people.
Yeah, we'll bring this photo, a photo.
Oh, I kind of
through
recognize
the magic
him.
of editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the magic of editing, we'll bring a photo up now, Phil. And
He also has a there's a, I don't think it's an Olympic thing, but that's fucking random fact. But he created like a athletic thing called the Van Damme lift. That's part of like, I think maybe the Arnold Classic or something like that they do.
really?
Where basically you do the splits across 2 chairs and you pick up a weight in the middle, and it's like, what you should watch him do it. This is from back in the day, obviously, but it's insane. But
What is that?
he
Hang on,
created
Jean
that.
Claude did or Rob Van Dam?
Rob Van Dam.
Is that why Jean? But why did Jean Claude have that?
What's
advert
he?
in which was just
What's he picking
doing
the
splits?
weight up with?
His
Presumably his
hands.
hands.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not.
Well, he's thinking of his wife and his girlfriend, isn't he? And then
Yeah.
Kettlebell end.
kettlebell end. Yeah. So yeah, he's in a thruple. I mean, that's thruples in wrestling.
Wow.
Solid
Was that even 5 minutes?
He's just he's a relatively chill dude actually. Like you talk about this guy being chill and letting his wives do the work. This is different, obviously. Rob Van Dam is still wrestling in Impact, and he still tips out with his wife, who's actually
Is he?
Yeah,
I've
like
not
the
watched
tip-
it. Just fucking.
So-
How old is he now?
I don't know, like
Phil,
50.
all he does is, for the past 30 years, all he's done is smoke weed.
Oh, yeah,
Like, it's out of his mind. That's all he does all day, every day.
He smokes
so
weed
it's
and
like
has sex with porn stars.
Yeah, he's
pretty
living the
much
life, isn't he?
yeah. There's
Although you will probably need a break from those two at some point, because otherwise it just becomes the norm and then it loses its thrill.
Yeah.
Also, right, if you're having sex with say if you're a porn star, this is going off topic slightly, but say you're married. If you're still having to go to work, is that then considered cheating technically? If you're married to another porn star, I think
if there's an understanding
no,
as well.
there's parameters,
that you...
isn't there? There's understood parameters in it. I think I've watched not a documentary, but like a YouTube video. Do you know?
Louis
where it's
Theroux's
like,
done a couple of documentaries on
where they interview porn stars, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's like in relationships, and it's like it's 2 different types of sex they have, isn't it? And it's when in actual like what
I don't know if you know this, lads, but porn is fake. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Really?
it's all very
it's all predetermined.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Right.
So it's well known that he's in a polygamous relationship.
Yeah.
He does tend to shout about it quite a bit. Yeah.
He posts a lot on social media about it with him and his.
I mean, between that and smoking weed, that's his brand. Now.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what I
pretty
mean?
much.
That's who he is.
But he's like a
his whole thing.
relatively, like, really sort of chill. Sorry, as soon as I was saying chill, dude, the thing that I remember is I was going to talk about his the not the dirt sheet, sorry, the shoot interview that he did when he
Shawn Michaels.
talked about
We've
Shawn
actually
Michaels.
talked about
this before, and every time I remember it, I just sort of chuckle. Phil, will
You'll have to
show
refresh
you.
me on this.
I think we've done it before. Like Shawn Michaels famously has a cross eyes. So it's like, and whenever he does he was like, I think they're talking about who's a dick and who's not a dick, and they go through different wrestlers, and he goes, oh yeah, he's a massive dick, and he was like, he used a really sort of succinct and well thought out term to, I think it was similar to like
too bad this comment isn't so well thought out, isn't it? Fucking hell.
I think it was like not disingenuous, but that was the kind of like what he was trying to articulate, and about Shawn Michaels. And then he said, because he said, oh yeah, this one time I came out of the ring and Shawn just went, and just said what he said, and it was like a really disingenuous phrase about, "Oh yeah, I guess you are a good wrestler," but he did it with a cross-eyed.
I think it was maybe this is either that story, or it's one that Chris Jericho said. But this is like the height of Shawn Michaels coming back and being a complete fucking idiot and smackhead. But he basically said, "Oh yeah, great match," and then whoever, it was either Chris Jericho or Rob Van Dam, said, "Oh, what did you think to the move that I did? Like whatever move." He goes, "Oh, brilliant, really good, well done, like perfect executed." And then they went, "Oh, thanks," and went on the way. Didn't do the move. he tried to basically like lord me, like, did he actually watch the match? No, he didn't. He's just bullshitting me.
Okay.
But I think it was maybe Chris Jericho who said that. I can't remember if it
Yeah,
was
that
him or
sounds like a
RVD,
Jericho
but
thing,
yeah.
With kayfabe and stuff like that,
Yeah.
are sometimes like the lines get not necessarily crossed, but get confused? Because I know that sometimes
yes.
they'll put people together and then they become a couple in real life.
Yeah, no, did
when-
that. Chris Benoit. He
Yeah.
was in he was in a storyline with a guy called Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah,
Who was actually the booker of WCW at the time.
Right.
So the guy who writes the show.
Uh-huh.
And he wrote that his real life wife, a woman called Nancy, who was called Woman, was going to kind of basically become in a relationship with Benoit in storyline and cheat on him and whatever. And to kind of sell that in and make sure that it was seen as real, he made his wife travel with Chris Benoit and all of that stuff. And then turns out they really got on, got together, and the storyline became real life. And then,
yeah. There's
a few
the
years
phrase,
down the
isn't it?
road,
It's like
kills her and their son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the story which is like, or the phrase which is, Kevin Sullivan booked his own divorce.
But yeah, there's a lot of that. Like,
well, there's a curse,
Triple H
isn't it?
and
Stephanie. Yeah,
Stephanie is a perfect example.
well, there's the
and...
curse, which is like, it happened like it's something that was kind of more thought of online in the last 10-15 years, where it was just like Vince McMahon did always split up couples and put the woman with somebody else, and it was like, never let Vince McMahon know that you're in a relationship with another wrestler, because he'll take your wife away and plonk her with another man. And yeah, it was always kind of like they say in the UK on the BBC, we've got Strictly Come Dancing. It's a Strictly curse. There's like, yeah, Vince's curse, where it's just like, as soon as he finds out you're in a relationship, and you're gonna lose, and you're gonna lose your wife, like Lita and
that's what I was going to say. The reverse of it happens as well, Phil. Where Lita and Matt Hardy were in a relationship, and then Lita cheated on him with Edge. And they were kind of in a relationship, and then they turned it into a storyline where basically they were fighting about her. So like real life, kayfabe becomes real life, and then real life becomes kayfabe.
Matt Hardy who brought it to the table, wasn't it? He was just like, "Well, let's lean into it."
Well, yeah, because he got sacked, and then he was like, "Actually, let me come back and make some money."
Please give me a job.
Him, and then he was like, "Yeah,
let me live out my trauma in front of thousands of people."
He went apeshit. Yeah, he originally went apeshit about it, so they sacked him and were like, "Right, okay, get out of the locker room, anyways." And then
he was like coming through the crowd, fighting him, and everyone was like, "Oh, is it real? Is it real?" It's like, no, it's not real. It's a storyline. But the actual thing was real. The cheating was real. So yeah, it happens both ways.
Yeah, but a lot of times, yeah, couples are sort of.
I think you could get away with like a wrestler having a what's it called, polygamous relationship in like the WWE now. I think it's too family friendly.
It's too family friendly, isn't it? Yeah.
You'd have to probably keep it.
The last version of it would have been The Godfather with his hose, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the closest thing to it, but again, that was PG-13, not PG-13. Well, what was it? Yeah, no, what was TV? Oh no, TV teen or something.
I don't know.
TV-15, I think maybe.
I do forget that they kind of have to try and hide what real sort of the real stuff from people as much as they can to keep the effect going.
Oh yeah. It's like it's kind of now, because of the fact that everyone knows what's going on with everybody's life. Yeah. They do acknowledge it sometimes on TV, like in WWE, you've got Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. they occasionally acknowledge it, but not. It's not overt, and I think that's because they've got quite a lot of pulling power within the company now that they can.
But it's also they did a storyline together and it was fucking terrible.
Dreadful,
so they were like, let's not do that
let's not
again.
try this again. Yeah.
Imagine having to try and translate your real life into being like, oh, wouldn't it be good if everyone knew what was going on?
Yeah.
And then you do it, and they're just like, no, it's boring. We don't want to. We don't want to
Yeah,
hear
nah,
about
you know
it.
what? Do you know what?
Keep
we're
it
better
to
off
yourselves.
about?
Yeah.
Let's separate you both.
Yeah, but they keep putting. Well, they've got Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are now running through their whole. Oh, we're in a couple. We're married thing again. They sort of not split them, but had to keep them apart. And now it seems as though to try to revive both of their careers, they're kind of being paired back together again. They are an actual legitimate couple, but yeah. And then you've got like in AEW, Jon Moxley is married to Renee Paquette. She's a commentator. They try not to reference it, but I think they threw a throwaway line a couple of weeks ago where Hangman Jon Moxley was I don't know, he was like concussed one day and he was like out for a couple of weeks and they were waiting and they were kind of like, I think it was a way for them to drag out a storyline to this pay-per-view this weekend. And yeah, then Hangman was just like, I hope you've spoken to your husband about what I did to him last time. We're gonna have to do it again. So it's going to happen to him again. Revolution. But yeah, like from couples being in relationships, it's sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing on screen.
I can imagine it is say something. It's hard enough in a relationship if like you have an argument or you disagree about something, and and that happens. Can you imagine doing that? But there are like 2 or 3 other people that must get a little messy. You must have to communicate really, really effectively if this kind of thing is how you choose.
I think that's it, isn't it? It's like you need to be open and honest from the get-go and throughout, really. There's no other way around it. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see how it's sustainable long term. I really can't.
It would be. It's an interesting. I was going to say pipe dream. That's not what I mean.
Oh,
it's an interesting concept. It would sort of be. It would be nice if that kind of thing would work. It would probably make life more interesting, I guess. But it's not for.
Well, this is the thing because we
does it work or does it not work?
We're all
I just think it like I don't want to give 33% and change to someone. I want to give 100% of myself to someone and vice versa. That's how I kind of see it.
But
I can see that.
again, you can't. It's difficult for us to sort of like understand it truly, because we've never really.
No, it's not. We just read a fucking article about it.
Yeah, but I
We
mean,
know
that
everything
article,
there is to know.
See how informative it was.
Yeah, exactly. That article was very.
We've just done a fucking
sensationalist,
hour and a bit on it. We fucking we know all there is to know
We know
on
all
this
there is.
subject.
Anyways.
And I made my fucking opinions on it before I understood any of it. So there you go. As I always do.
That's the way forward.
Solid 5 on wrestling.
Solid 5.
Exactly.
Which is what this episode is out of 10.
Out of 10? Oh, Christ, I
Yeah.
thought you were going to go a lot higher.
No, that's actually the number of downloads it's going to get.
Yeah, well.
When they look at the...
Do you know what we need? We need to see how many thruples there are out there, because that will get us a lot more plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it though? Because we'll just should we play Carl?
Oh no, yeah, because they'll all listen
disgusting.
together. Or every single person listen to it individually. Don't listen to it as a group. That's my rule.
Thruples are not allowed listening.
Yeah.
To this
No, they are.
One
but
do
you
it
have
on
to do it on different
Spotify, one
account.
do it on Apple, one do it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe a
like
couple
that.
on YouTube. Yeah.
You could. This guy could listen to it in different rooms of the house while he's having his end on it.
Yeah. All right.
There we go.
That's it from your favourite wrestling podcast.
With a lad from Hull.
But for this week, we are all tapped out.
let's do a strong 5 on wrestling. Let's get that fuck out of here.